Alright, it's Henry again, and it's time for another work in progress video for my 1 to 100 scale Virgo. Now, before I start, I do want to mention something that's actually kind of important that I forgot to mention in the first work in progress video, is that I am doing the Virgo first, but I'm actually doing a dual build. I'm doing Virgo and Virgo 2 at the same time. And I'm doing that simply because it's just going to be easier on me to make them at the same time. Virgo and Virgo 2 are so similar. They're like 75% the same mobile suit, maybe even 80 or 85% the same mobile suit, that it will just be a lot easier for me to build them both simultaneously than to make Virgo now and then come back a few months later and make Virgo 2. So I'm doing the dual build of Virgo and Virgo 2 right now. Although for the first few videos I make, you'll just be seeing Virgo stuff, but I'm going to be doing a lot of resin casting, so a lot of the stuff will just be copied to the Virgo 2. So anyway, last time I actually had my Virgo standing up, but he's been disassembled into lots of different pieces now, and I've just pretty much been working from the feet and going upwards, and I've been working pretty much exclusively on the legs. So anyway, I guess we'll start off with the foot. Here's the foot, and just to give you kind of a perspective, I based it off the tall geese foot. So this is what I started off with, and this is what I've ended up with. This isn't 100% done, but it's about 95% there. As you can see, I've really sanded down the edges and straightened those out. I added this big shape to the back here. I completely reshaped the back heel area, added this central thingy right here, all that. I added the ball joint on top. Originally, as you can see, the polycap was in there and then the ball joint was on the leg. But with the way I've designed the ankle armor, it's going to be easier to have the ball here and the socket up inside the leg. And also on the bottom, I drilled that out and added a little thruster there, and then did some plow plate for detail on the bottom of the feet. And so far all I've got left to do on the foot is scribe some panel lines on the sides and just do like a little bit of touch-up work, sharpen some edges, and that'll be pretty much it. The foot's almost done. Next up is the ankle armor, which unfortunately isn't as far along as I would like it to be. I had made it's basically the tall geese's ankle armor. Tall geese had really small ankle armor. I cut that away and then hollowed it out, and so what it's going to be is the lower leg is going to be able to fit through the ankle armor like so. You can see I made a space for the polycap, and then that'll go on there, and the ankle armor will just float free. And it's in such a way that I don't think it's going to be loose or jiggle around very much. I think it'll pretty much stay in place. So I've got this yellow epoxy putty. I've been using this a lot, and from my estimation, I think I'm going to be using it for most of this project. But anyway, I know it looks kind of like Play-Doh right now, but once it gets hard, I'm going to be sanding that down and making those nice angled edges, so hopefully it ends up looking something like that. But yeah, you'll be able to see this pretty much finished in the next work in progress video. Moving up, we've got the lower leg. So you can see it's mostly just the tall geese's lower leg, only I've added some bulk to the calf area, and then I've added these two little prong thingies right here. As you can see on the V8, it's got those little prong thingies right on the sides of the kneecap. Now, the knee joint is one of the things that had really troubled me the most, because I just couldn't figure out a good way to make a knee joint, or an elbow joint for that matter, they were both bothering me, that I could, how do I explain this? Here we go. Adding knee joints and elbow joints to resin has been difficult because resin is a solid piece, whereas you got a plastic part, you've got two halves that you can just sandwich a polycap between there and then put the knee joint in the polycap and you're good to go. But resin, I mean, you can't fit a polycap up in there, so I've been I mean, yeah, you can use like aftermarket joints, but those don't always look very good. And I was really trying to figure out a way I could do it using the original joint. And I think I've worked out a system using polycaps and then just a simple little ply plate box like this. I mean, this is just 3 little pieces of ply plate right here. And basically the theory is I can take this piece and glue it up inside the solid resin part like that. Actually, this one will be going on the bottom. And then it'll be in there like that. And then this piece is just solid, no moving parts, so I can recast this easily in resin. And then you'll have this glued in here, and you can just fit that down in there, and you'll get pretty much a 90-degree bend out of it. Now granted, I still haven't built the parts that are going to be on the sides right there, but those will come later. You'll see those probably in the next work in progress. But I think this is actually going to work out to be a really good solution. And they're going to be more or less hidden because the only time you're really going to see them is if you look at it straight from the back of the knee joint, and even then you're only going to see those edges right there. So you're not going to see much of the ply plate box. You're going to be seeing mostly just the knee joint. So I think this satisfies my want of having good mobility and a good looking knee joint at the same time. And I think I'm going to try and use this for the knee and elbow joints on all of my Oz project kits because I think it works really, really well. Alright, let's see. Now this is actually the knee joint I'm going to be using for Mercurius and V8. Well, I'm going to be using it for Virgo and Virgo 2 as well. I just went ahead and made the Mercurius and V8 version first. Now, like I said, this is going to be glued in here. And with this, the kneecap will actually be movable. So when you bend the knee, the kneecap moves with it. So that was a nice little feature. And, let's see, let me go over here. The Virgo has a much larger knee armor. And what I plan to do is recast this knee joint and use it for Virgo, Virgo 2, Mercurius, and V8. But for Virgo and Virgo 2, I'll probably just drill a couple of holes in that kneecap and then just scratch build this larger knee armor and then attach that to this little kneecap. And it'll cover it up, and that'll be Virgo's knee armor. I think it'll work out pretty well that way. So anyway, I guess just to show you what it looks like. This is the thigh, by the way. This used to be Tallgeese's thigh. Let's see. I started out with this, and I just completely sanded the sides down until they were pretty much gone. All that was left was just the edges. And then I cemented ply plate on each side, except for this side I decided just to use putty. I mean, I could have used ply plate to do that, but honestly, epoxy putty was just easier and quicker. So you'll notice I filled in that hole because, again, I'm going to be recasting this in resin. So I can't have it be hollow, so I have to have it solid. And when I go to put together the recasted version, I'll just drill that out and put a polycap in there. As you can see, I've filled in pretty much the entire thing. And then this knee joint will go in here. And this is basically what the leg is going to turn out looking like. And right now it's looking like we're going to have pretty much a 180-degree bend. And I know it looks kind of funny, but most of the time I have this kit, I'm going to have it displayed standing up. And the knee cap just broke off, but that's okay. It probably wasn't going to be permanent anyway. I was probably going to have to break it off again eventually. So, what else? What else? I got the shoulder joint. I think I'm going to end up just recasting the shoulder joint in 2 halves. I just put epoxy around the outside of it to add some bulk to it, make it a little bit bigger. And that's about all I've done, to be honest. I haven't been working as quickly on this project as I would like, but I have been going at a pretty good pace the last couple of days. One other thing I wanted to mention is the shoulder armor. The first work in progress video, I showed you this thing, which is a complete piece of crap. That was total failure. But I made another well, not the finished shoulder armor obviously, but a base for the shoulder armor out of epoxy putty. Just formed it around a golf ball. And I actually think it's going to work out pretty nicely. In fact, let me get the upper torso here. So you can see here's the upper torso, and it'll be on there. I'll probably sand this down flat, then have a large piece of ply plate here with a hole in it that's going to fit onto this peg, and then the shoulder armor will fit on top of that. And I'm thinking that's how I'm going to support that shoulder armor. But for this thing, it's going to need a lot of sanding and edging and making that as perfect as it can, because right now it's just a big wad of Play-Doh looking stuff. So one last thing I want to show you guys before I go is my recent shipment I got, and it is this. All of my resin casting supplies for the Oz project. Now this I already had. This was left over from Heavy Arms and Sandrock. Got silicone rubber. This is a 1 pound container, by the way. And here's the resin I was using for Heavy Arms and Sandrock. But all of this right here is what I just ordered recently. This I actually found at Hobby Lobby. This is clear resin, and this is definitely going to come in handy. I'm not going to be using it too much for the Oz project, but for other things, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could use clear resin for. Recasting beam sabers and camera lenses and eyes, just to name a few. But here we've got a large 5 pound container of silicone rubber. So I'll be able to make a lot of molds with that. And then there's the catalyst for the silicone. I'm pretty sure that's not going to last me through the entire Oz project. In fact, I expect it to last me maybe through Virgo, Virgo 2, Mercurius, and Vey 8, and after that I'll probably have to get more silicone. However, I bought 2 gallons of resin. Got a gallon of A part and a gallon of B part. And I think this 2 gallons may actually be able to last me for the entire Oz project, but we'll see. Whew, so I think that covers everything since the last work in progress video. One very last thing I do want to mention is regarding Aries. Since I have kind of figured out this knee and elbow joint thing, which was the main problem I was having articulating resin kits. Anybody that saw me working on my B Club Heavy Arms and Sandrock knows about my problems with that. B Club Aries comes out in, I think, like 2 weeks at the end of March, and I was debating in the last video whether or not I was going to scratch build in Aries or just use B Club's Aries. Now that I've figured out a good way to do the knee and elbow joints, I think I've decided to just use B Club's Aries for the Oz project. And, I mean, the downside to that is, yeah, I'm not going to have my own custom Aries that I scratch built myself, but it's going to really speed things up because, I mean, doing articulating a resin kit takes a lot less time than scratch building an entire model kit. And it'll, well, I don't know, I was about to say it'll probably cost more, but yeah, B Club Aries will probably cost more, even when you consider scratch building supplies and resin casting stuff. So it'll cost more, but it'll be faster and it'll be a lot less work, and to me, that's worth it. So anything to get this project done as quickly as possible. I'm not going to make things harder on myself just for the sake of being hard. Whew, so that about does it for this video, I think, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.